up here? Yeah, he was yelling, sleeping on. A few minutes ago, he went inside the bar, pushed the bartender out of the way, grabbed the bar leaf, and just there. Went into the bar.
What color shirt is he wearing?
Color shirt. Dark.
Okay.
Yellow. Directly behind me, sitting at the bar by himself with his feet on the chair.
Hey bro, what's going on? Alright. Bro! Stop! Put down the gun! Go! 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 Put your hands on your fucking head! Put your hands on your head! Put your hands on the fucking head! Stop! Find that right away! Find that right away!
This call being made today along Piedmont Road for Nygil Cullins. He was the 22-year-old man shot and killed last May by Atlanta police inside a Buckhead restaurant. At the time of the incident, APD saying officers fired at Cullins after he shot a security guard who tried to tackle him. Since then, Cullins' parents have said it was preceded by a mental health episode and that his mother was trying to get him to a behavioral health center.
Some phone calls change everything, not because of what was said, but because of what happened afterward. On a spring afternoon in Atlanta, a young man walked into a popular restaurant in one of the city's busiest neighborhoods. Hours later, he would be dead. His final moments would spark outrage, protests, accusations, and a legal battle that continues years later. His family says he was a son in crisis. Police say they were responding to a dangerous situation, and somewhere between those two versions of events lies a mystery that still refuses to go away. This is the story of 22-year-old Nigil Cullins. May 18th, 2022. For most people in Atlanta, it was an ordinary Wednesday. For the Cullins family, it would become a date permanently etched into their memory. According to his parents, Nigil had been struggling. Something wasn't right. Concerned about his well-being, his mother says she did what countless parents would do when they fear a loved one may be experiencing a mental health crisis. She reached out for help. She called 911. The hope was simple: get assistance, get treatment, get Nigil somewhere safe. But as the day continued, events would begin moving in a direction no one expected. At some point, Nigil made his way to a restaurant in Atlanta's Buckhead district, a place he knew well, a place where he had reportedly worked before. What happened next would become the center of years of controversy.
63 shots fired, 63 shots fired.
This is how the night ended at Fogo de Chao, but it's not how the night began for Amanda and her friends who sat next to Nigil Cullins as they waited for a table.
The guy honestly was just quiet, and he just looked really well dressed, a really nice looking guy.
But over several minutes, Amanda says, Cullins' behavior changed.
He starts just mumbling and mouthing and getting louder and louder and just saying absurd things.
Amanda says she got nervous after hearing,
he said, I'm about to go off in this. So I got up and I walked over to the host stand to the security guard and I said, are you guys not going to do anything about this guy? And he whispered, he has a gun. We have to wait until the cops get here.
It was then, Amanda says, things made sense.
There was a bartender who was staying far away from us. He was very quiet.
Amanda says she saw Cullins smash a glass on the floor and her party decided to head for the door when police arrived and approached him.
They tried to arrest him, it looked like, immediately. And he slipped out and he went to the floor. But right after that, there was a gunshot. So that's when I took off running.
Amanda's boyfriend took this video moments after the shooting stopped. Amanda calls the night chaotic and terrifying.
We're just looking for a cover because the gunshots are going off. Like, there's so many. I mean, I probably heard 10 to 15 gunshots. I truly think that if the cops hadn't shot him, many people would have been shot.
As customers ate and staff worked through another busy day, attention suddenly shifted. Witnesses would later describe hearing noise, commotion, voices becoming louder. Something was escalating. According to police, Nygil was sitting at the bar drinking from a bottle of liquor. Employees reportedly wanted him removed, but leaving wouldn't be simple. What started as a confrontation soon became physical. Security became involved, then police, and suddenly a routine restaurant disturbance was transforming into something far more serious. People nearby watched as tensions rose, commands were shouted, bodies moved, a struggle unfolded. What exactly happened during those chaotic moments remain heavily disputed to this day. Some accounts describe Nygil raising his hands. Others focus on the confrontation itself. Everyone agrees on one thing: the situation was spiraling out of control, fast. Then came a moment that would change everything. A gunshot, one single gunshot, and in the seconds that followed, the scene exploded into violence.
We're going to begin tonight with some breaking news, folks. This is out of Buckhead, where Atlanta police say an officer shot and killed a man who allegedly shot a security guard at the Fogo de Chao restaurant.
Let's get right out to our Paula Suro live on Piedmont Road, where it all went down just a few hours ago. Paula?
Yeah, and Jennifer, you know, we actually just saw an ambulance pull out of the restaurant about 30 minutes ago, and a couple minutes after that, the road here, Piedmont Road behind me, reopened, but the scene looked quite different just a few hours ago. I'll step out of the way so that you can see what the scene looks like right now. You can still see some Atlanta police cars out here, the GBI on scene as well. APD tells us a discussion began at the bar area of Fogo de Chao here on Piedmont Road, then moved towards the front entrance where an officer shot and killed a man. His friends tell us tonight that man was a former employee here. Atlanta police say they responded to a call of an unruly person at Fogo de Chao in Buckhead Wednesday night. When they arrived, a security guard tried escorting the man who was sitting in the bar area outside of the restaurant and deployed his taser,
which had negative effect on the subject.
Police say the man stood up to try to leave the restaurant, and the security guard then tackled him.
While tackling the subject was able to retrieve his weapon, the suspect's weapon, and fired one shot into the security guard, at which time one of our officers did deploy his firearm, fatally injuring the subject.
He's fun, bubbly, he loves to have fun, he jokes around.
Lena Woodward, who says she's a close friend of the man killed and a former employee of the restaurant, says he used to work as a busboy at Fogo de Chao.
Like, I just got multiple calls. Nygil, I did hear Nygil got into a confrontation. I don't know with who, with whoever, I have no idea. And then the next call, like I said, 2 minutes later was he's gone. And what I did, I left from working out and I came here.
Several witnesses hid under tables. At the time, Ronald McNeil was on the phone with his wife, who says she was sitting next to the bar and tried helping the security guard.
She was just getting up off of the floor from trying to give towels to them as they were holding the security guard who also got shot. They were trying to put towels on his chest before the MT got to him.
And tonight, the security officer is in the hospital, but in stable condition. And APD tells us that a weapon was recovered from the scene. And they also tell us that the GBI is now investigating. And as mentioned earlier, GBI is still here on the scene.
What happened after that first shot has become the heart of the controversy. Police maintain that officers were responding to an immediate threat. The family's attorney tells a very different story. According to authorities, a security guard tackled Nygil during the struggle. Police say Nygil reached for a firearm and discharged a round that struck the security guard. In response, an Atlanta police officer opened fire. Nygil Cullins was killed. But that wasn't the end of the questions. In fact, it was only the beginning. Family members and community activists soon began demanding answers. They wanted body camera footage. They wanted transparency. Most importantly, they wanted to know exactly what happened during those final seconds. Why? Because allegations soon emerged that the shooting involved multiple rounds fired in 2 separate bursts. Claims that would fuel protests and public outrage. Claims that intensified demands for video evidence. Yet despite those demands, the footage remained unreleased. And with every passing month, speculation only grew.
The police addressing the release of body camera footage related to the shooting of 22-year-old Nigel Cullins. The shooting happened back in May of 2022 at the Fogo de Chao in Buckhead. Cullins' family says officers used excessive force and have since filed a federal lawsuit against the department and the city. 11 Alive's Angelina Salcido has been following this case. Angelina, what did the chief have to say about all of this?
Well, Chief Darren Shearbaum sticking to his officers' actions tonight. He spoke to us moments ago off camera saying that they acted appropriately and they followed their training. Given the fact that they were in a crowded restaurant, they maintained that Nigel was an active threat during that time. In the video, we can hear the staff telling officers that Nigel was at the bar and drinking alcohol. Officers then approach Nigel and he immediately drops to the ground. They then ask him to put his hands on his head. We can hear Nigel yelling stop and trying to get away. That's when he's tased. Surveillance video and body cam video show officers shooting Nigel 10 times after they say Nigel fired a shot and hit the security guard trying to take him down.
I have reviewed this video beginning to end. Our critical incident review team has viewed the video. Other members of the command staff. We see no deviation from training or policy that would have changed the outcome. Once the gun is used and the gun is not surrendered or placed out of play, the dynamics are very different. And so we do not see that the officers did anything that was not appropriate during the interaction.
Now, one of the biggest takeaways from speaking with the chief is the reasoning for the release of the video coming right now. We know that the Cullins family, their attorney, and the Georgia NAACP have been calling for the release of this video since this happened 2 years ago. Chief Shearbaum addressed that, saying that there is now a policy in place that makes it so videos like this need to be released within 60 days of the incident happening. That was not in place when the shooting happened back in May of 2022. So, of course, a complicated case that continues to evolve, and the Cullins family again still calling for justice for Nigel.
Yeah, we've been following this one for a while, so a lot of folks have been waiting and watching for updates like these. Angelina, thank you so much.
As investigators worked behind the scenes, two competing narratives began taking shape. Police presented the incident as a deadly encounter involving an armed individual and an immediate threat. The Cullins family saw something entirely different. They argued that Nigel was experiencing a mental health crisis. They questioned whether the situation should have ever reached a point of deadly force, and they challenged key parts of the official account. According to the family's claims, the firearm discharged when the security guard tackled Nigil, not because he intentionally fired it. They further alleged that officers continued shooting after Nigil was no longer capable of posing a threat. Those allegations transformed the case from a tragic shooting into something much larger, a debate about policing, a debate about mental health, and a debate about accountability. But perhaps the most painful question remained unanswered. Could this outcome have been prevented?
Well, tonight it has been 2 years since 22-year-old Nigil Cullins lost his life at a Fogo de Chao in Buckhead. He was shot and killed by Atlanta police officers, and now the body cam footage of that incident has been released.
And for the first time since seeing that video, we're hearing from Nigel's family and their attorneys. 11 Alive's Brittany Kleinpeter joining us now in studio. You spoke with Nigel's parents, so what are they saying about the video?
That's right. So they're upset and shocked tonight, understandably, telling me why it's been the worst experience watching that footage. They believe, though, it still doesn't portray an accurate depiction of what went on that day.
Put your hands on your head!
A parent's worst nightmare.
See your son lifeless, his arms dangling.
Captured on video.
That's not how you want to remember your son.
It's been 2 years since 22-year-old Nigil Cullins was shot and killed following an interaction with police at Fogo de Chao in Buckhead. At the time, APD reported officers were responding to a call of an unruly customer with a gun.
Yelling at people now, a few minutes ago he went inside the bar, pushed the bartender out of the way.
And since then, his parents, alongside their attorneys, have been demanding that the body cam footage from that day be released.
All I keep seeing in my head is his hands up, afraid, and running for his life.
His dad saying just 24 hours after seeing it for the first time that he wished he'd never watched it.
I didn't get sleep last night.
Nigel's mom, Maya Cullins, had previously shared with 11 Alive that her son was undergoing a mental health crisis prior to the shooting, saying the body cam footage doesn't paint the entire picture, claiming it's edited.
A lot of the things in the initial narrative does not equate to what we saw. So our response to it, we want justice.
Tonight, attorneys for the family say they want the unedited version of the footage to be released so there can be more transparency as to what led officers to use such force.
What we saw yesterday was an attempt at being Steven Spielberg and redirecting what happened, and that's not appropriate for the city of Atlanta.
For now, the family and their attorneys are in the waiting game, telling us they have no word on when APD's investigation will be complete, knowing the district attorney will take a look at the case once it is complete. One of the family's attorneys shared with me that he had previously worked with DA Fani Willis and has a lot of confidence in her handling the case. Guys?
Years later, the fight for answers continues. Nygil Cullins' parents have filed a federal lawsuit against the city of Atlanta, the Resturant, a private security company, and the officers involved. They say they were seeking justice, seeking transparency, and seeking the truth about what happened to their son. Meanwhile, officials continue to stand by their investigation. The body camera footage that many believe could answer critical questions remains at the center of public interest, and until every detail is fully revealed, the mystery surrounding Nygil Cullins' final moments remain unresolved. Was this a justified use of force, a preventable tragedy, or something far more complicated? The answer depends on which versions of events proves true, and for one Atlanta family, that answer is something they're still searching for today. Alright y'all, there y'all have it, man. That's a crazy story of Nygil Cullins. May he rest in peace. Condolences to the Cullins family. Hey man, drillers and trappers, we outside trapping and drilling 247. Don't go nowhere. Watch that next video. Gang!